Alright, hello folks. We have talk about the crime going on in our fair city. And obviously there was a fire that got ignored by the media. They're so obsessed with that big one that happened in the Bronx almost 2 weeks ago. But there was another fire that AM New York had on their website that we'll get into later on in this video. I'm going to have to scroll down to find it, but it is on their website. It is. So let's get into what's on the homepage of Spectrum News Channel 1, as we're going to call them. And I'm titling this video today, Channel 1 covers some crime but ignores others. That's what we're titling this video today. And obviously, I guess they really do miss de Blasio, because every time I watch Channel 1, they're obsessed with him, and they're obsessed with the Wicked Witch of Buffalo. They're obsessed with both of them. So, I'm doing this video today, and my upload schedule is getting a little crazy because tomorrow I'm actually virtually attending a New York State Senate hearing to confirm Janno Liber as chairman of the MTA, and that is a public event, and I'll update this video as I go along because it's open to the public, and I will be attending virtually tomorrow because obviously it's a very historic confirmation of Janno Liber as CEO and chairman of the MTA. So obviously I'm doing a little bit of multitasking at the moment. But you can see here, you have to scroll all the way down just to find the crime. You want proof? Yep. That right there. I mean, really. You have to scroll all the way down. I mean, that's ridiculous. That is completely ridiculous. I mean, this is the true colors of Spectrum News right here. That, they show their true colors and they just don't care that much. Okay? They just don't. We're completely ignored. And you'll see all these stories in Queens as we go along here. And there are a couple that Channel 7 did a good job covering as well in the other boroughs. But, yeah, I mean, they covered 2 minutes of it. You want proof they covered 2 minutes of it? And this is what you get in public safety. Ooh, I didn't see this. Shot fired on a bus. Okay, I'll have to read that later on in the video. But I do have the video. We're not going to watch it because obviously then I'll get in trouble with Spectrum. But we're going to scroll to the right. So you have proof that it is 2 minutes. There it is right there. 2 minutes, 33 seconds. That Spectrum News did cover this awful incident where a woman got shoved onto the tracks in Times Square. And we're going to lead off with that because there is a narrative going around that, again, Alvin Bragg is just laughing at this, and he's probably not going to he's not going to commit to sentencing an emotionally disturbed person that deserves to go to prison for at least the next 25, 50 years for what he did. And I'm only saying that because this emotionally disturbed person that shoved this innocent Asian woman onto the tracks in front of the train is 61. So obviously 25 years from now, he'll be in his 90s. If I'm correct. I'm terrible with math. Maybe in his mid to late 80s. I don't know. But I do want to show you this briefly. And Charlton was on Pix 11, but I'm the only one that had the video because they didn't show the lead-in. Now, tonight, the family of the Asian woman will be holding a vigil at Times Square later this evening, and I'll find the Spectrum News article after we read the New York One article. I called them New York One by accident. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be Channel One, but they do have information about what time the vigil will be held at the TKTS steps tonight. So let's just play this brief video featuring Charlton from Passengers United.
Tonight, members from Passengers United call for more resources to deal with violent and emotionally disturbed people in the subway system.
We need social workers down here. We need social workers to help these individuals. And we need one-on-one intervention.
And again, I'm in complete agreement with Charlton. But Pine Power LI made a good point yesterday on his channel, and it is time to seriously consider start rounding him up, because they are a danger to the public. They are a menace to society, and they're going to commit more crimes. They don't need a gun all the time. They can use a subway, as this example shows right here. So, we're going to read the article, and you could judge for yourself why it's really the time to start making arrests again, because that's the first step to the long process of repealing this awful, dangerous bail reform law. There we go. Homeless man turned himself in on Saturday afternoon, hours after he shoved an Asian woman into the path of an oncoming downtown Q train in Times Square, 42nd Street, in a possible hate crime. So originally, they claimed, the police claimed they weren't going to look into it as a hate crime. Well, they should. They should. Because this person, so deranged backwards, probably saw what her skin looked like and pushed her onto the tracks. So the suspect is named Simon Marshall, 61. He was escorted from the Midtown South Precinct Saturday evening, January 15th, in cuffs to be charged with murder in the second degree. When reporters questioned why Marshall committed the cold-blooded crime, he began belligerently screaming, "Yes, I did it because I'm God. I can do it because I'm God." Okay, so he's pretending to be Morgan Freeman now. You know, this is what our city has become. This is exactly what our city has become because of our 8-year terror of this man right here. See that man? That's de Blasio. He caused this. And, you know, I understand Eric Adams has been on the job now for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. But this is going to take a long time to clean up. And I said, I'm giving Eric Adams until June. I said it. Didn't I say it? It's only January 18th. We are in the middle of January. Understand that. So I'm not just going to jump to assumptions about Eric Adams just yet. Okay, it's not June. But if I don't see any of the numbers start to go down in the 6 months of Eric Adams, then, you know, it's time to call him out in June. Because it's only January. Okay, so according to Assistant Chief Jason Wilcox, the suspect is believed to be emotionally disturbed homeless individual who allegedly accosted another woman prior to the murder, though she does not identify as a member of the AAPI community. Okay, so it says here, police said the unnamed woman feared for her safety. We do have a name of the woman. We're going to get to it later on. Backed away from the suspect when she saw him push the murder victim, a 40-year-old Asian woman, on the tracks. Detectives are now working to determine whether the suspect acted out of hate or if he chose the victim at random. So there you go. I mean, this is what it's become. This is what it has become. And, you know, again, you have to point the finger at de Blasio making all these cuts to mental health when he was mayor. Right? So, my message to Eric Adams is, for his first budget, he needs to address mental health. Because he can restore the funding that was taken away by de Blasio. He has the executive power to do it. It's just that right now, you know, he doesn't want to do it. He's just, you know, living like he's carefree at the moment. But, you know, again, if this doesn't change by June, and I'm only saying June because remember, we have a primary for governor coming up in June. Everyone's assuming the Wicked Witch is going to win in November. Not so yet. Not so. And this is what you get. This is exactly what you get with these progressive Democrats. They claim they want to look out for everyone, but in reality, they just don't. Here we go. So let's find out the name of the woman, because Channel 1 did have an article. Alright, so here we go. The victim's name is Michelle Elisa Go. She was 40, and she'll be honored tonight at 6 p.m. at the Red Steps. So I'll give you the location of where that is in just a second. I also want to mention that Channel 7 said the woman was involved with homeless services. In fact, 1010 Win said the same thing too. So I'll just show you where the TKTS steps are if you do want to attend this vigil tonight. So if you are interested, the vigil will be taking place at 6 p.m. at the intersection of West 47th Street between Broadway and 7th Avenue. I know this location very well because, again, I've been on the TKTS steps. If you want an exact location, I would say if you look for the Olive Garden on West 47th Street, you'll know where you are. If you're coming from the north, I would say look out for the Disney store on West 45th Street. Because, again, I'm very familiar with this area, but I'll show you a street view if you want to know what the vigil is. So, again, this is where the vigil is going to take place tonight. Right up. Let me make sure I have it. Yeah, right there. That's where the vigil is going to take place tonight. See where my mouse is. You'll know where it is once you see it, but it is open to the public. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to come tonight to show support for this woman who was just pushed onto the tracks. It is going to be cold, so dress warm, obviously. And if you can, wear a mask. Because not only for COVID, but it will keep you warm in a sense. So now we're going to read this article. And we're going to get into this. A perception that Mayor Eric Adams is making about crime. He claims, oh, the subway is safe. Not when you have Charlton D'Souza saying it's not. That's the bottom line. I mean, you have people who actually ride the system like Charlton, you know, saying it's not safe. And, you know, this narrative that, again, these progressive Democrats are claiming, you know, it's hurting the little guy who's Charlton. And it's not fair to him. And it's honestly not fair to everyone else who rides the system daily. It's just not. Charlton's on the subway every other day when he goes to work. And, you know, to insult Charlton like that, you know, Mayor Adams and Charlton are essentially at war right now. They are essentially at war because you have Adams claiming it's not safe. Sorry, you have Adams claiming it's safe. DeSouza saying it's not safe. And, you know, it's going to become a bickering war of words. It's starting to become like that. So here you go. Major Big Apple crimes jumped more than a third in the first 2 weeks of this year compared to the same period in 2021, with transit crimes alone soaring 65.5%. And then not to mention you have that weakling female commissioner of transit. Let me look up a picture of her because she's like Dermot Shea. She's like Dermot Shea. Look her up. This woman. She has no spine. She's like, oh, you're making a false narrative. The subway is safe. Listen to Eric Adams. This is why I keep saying it was a mistake to let Ed De La Torre go. It was a complete mistake. You know, I still wish Ed De La Torre was still chief transit. No! They had to put her in. And look at this. You have Eric Adams saying it's safe. Let's watch the video. Let's watch the... I don't even want to read this article. Let's see where he claims it's safe.
We have a safe subway system.
Liar!
Police officers, they have done their jobs. What we must do is we have a safe subway system. Transit police officers, they have done their job.
No, they haven't. Kathleen O'Reilly has not done her job. No. No. This is what we keep talking about. All right? I have not been on the subway since December 21st. And the last time I was on the subway back on December 21st, I personally did not feel safe seeing all the homeless hanging around Grand Central. And I've witnessed that in the past year since I went back to the transit system. I'm only at home right now because of the surge of Omicron. And hopefully I'm going back to work in March. And hopefully I'm maybe going to get my day off so I can see what's going on. I'm observant. I know what's going on, Adams. And explain to me, why is it okay for homeless people to sleep on the 7 in Flushing? Explain that to me. Explain, why do I have to see a homeless person in a high-end store on Roosevelt Avenue in Flushing? Why should I have to see that? Shouldn't have to. Man, my patience is really starting to go down with Eric Adams already. It's really starting to go down. You know, last night he was at the Knicks game and he got booed. He got booed. So that shows you people are already starting to turn against Eric Adams. And I may be doing that in the next 5.5 months. I may be. In fact, Sliwa, the Republican candidate in 2021, he's already starting to. He's already called out the fact that he's not going to stand up against Alvin Bragg. So I know I've spent too much time on it, but, you know, I'm done talking about him. For now. So let's talk about this. This got ignored by all mainstream media outlets. This actually happened on the Queens-Nassau border. Yeah, happened right on the Queens-Nassau border. So let's read this. Great Neck man faces multiple charges after getting into a woman's car and stealing it when she got out to call 911. Shortly before Sunday, January 16th, the woman, age 60, was sitting in a 2022 Audi sedan outside the Great Neck Starbucks at 55 Northern Boulevard when Rajan Wright, age 23, opened the rear door and sat down, according to police. Not knowing the subject and in fear, the female exited her vehicle and ran inside Starbucks to call 911. Wright then climbed into the driver's seat and drove east on Northern Boulevard. Officers found him sitting in the Audi on Clare Street, a short distance from the Starbucks. After a brief struggle with officers, White was taken into custody. While in custody, according to police, White kicked a detective's computer and knocked over a table. He was charged with grand larceny, attempted criminal mischief, criminal possession of stolen property, unauthorized use of a vehicle, and resisting arrest. His arraignment was set for Monday, so I don't know what direction the woman was facing inside the Starbucks, but if she was front facing, I don't know why she just didn't floor it. I mean, she just should have started the car and just fled. I mean, you're not supposed to get out of the vehicle if someone's threatening you. I mean, I understand you're in panic, but, you know, it's every person for themselves thanks to the police, you know, not being as strict as they were 15, 20 years ago. It's not like that. Because these Democrats have hypnotized the police too. They have. Oh, don't be assertive. You can't do that. That's not the good old days. Ugh. Trust me, this woman had every right to self-defense. She legally ran him over. She legally had ran him over. You know, that would have been legal in every jurisdiction. So let's show you where this Starbucks is, because it is on the county line. Show you where it is. Right, so this is where the Starbucks is. This is Buttonwood Road, Glenwood Street. So yeah, this is right on the border. This is right on the border of Queens and Nassau. Just quickly take a look at the parking lot. I mean, you would think in an area like this you would feel safe, but no. No. I mean, my goodness. I mean, if this guy fled into Queens, you know, trust me, this would have been completely chaotic. You trust me, if I had felt threatened, I just would have literally gone away and I would have went to the 111 precinct in Bayside. And I would have told them, hey, something happened on the county line. Can you notify Nassau County Police? Because, again, I'm not familiar with the police stations in Great Neck as much. So, obviously, I just would have like, bleep it. I'm going to 111 precinct and reporting this. But, you know, that's the problem. She just panicked. And that's what happened. Okay. By the way, we have an update in regards to a shooting that happened last year in Queens Village. So, a suspect has finally been arrested a year after a murder that took place in Queens Village, according to DA Melinda Katz. Aslavo Diaz of Hillside Avenue was indicted by a Queens grand jury and arraigned on Wednesday, January 12th before Queens Superior Court Justice Ushar Durant on a three-count indictment charging him with murder and 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon for allegedly stabbing and slashing his 78-year-old mother to death back on February 24th of last year. So there's his mugshot. Alright, so the victim's name was Maria Diaz. Right. According to DA Katz, Diaz and his elderly mother lived together in an apartment above a beauty salon at 219-44 Hillside Avenue in Queens Village. And on February 24th, 2021, the defendant's sister went to their home for a visit. The two women had previously planned to run some errands and then go for a walk, but when the defendant's sister arrived at the apartment and called her mother on her cell phone, 78-year-old victim never answered despite numerous calls. Eventually, the defendant picked up the phone and allegedly told his sister to go to the store. According to charges, when the sister left the building, Aslano Diaz was observed on video surveillance leaving the apartment. When the woman returned, no one responded to her calls. That's when she summoned the property owner who permitted her into the apartment, when she discovered her mother's body bleeding and wrapped in bedding. Obviously, we know what happened. Oh boy. So look at this. We didn't know anything about this for a year. And then apparently he was held for a year. Then was returned to Queens just this year in 2022 to face charges. So, according to a statement from Melinda Katz, she said the defendant allegedly attacked his mother with a machete to the point of near decapitation. The outburst of violence has devastated the victim's family, which includes her 6 other children. The defendant fled the state but was apprehended and extradited to Queens. Justice Panit Duran ordered the defendant to return to court on February 17th. Diaz faces up to 25 years to life in prison if convicted. So, again, thank you, Melinda Katz. Thank you, Melinda Katz. I mean, this is why we have a proactive district attorney in Queens. Unlike Manhattan, unlike what Alvin Bragg's doing. You know, if Alvin Bragg was RDA, this guy would probably get off easy. This guy would probably get off easy. So, we have an update regarding that taser video I posted last week. So, apparently, the guy who carjacked the vehicle on West 54 from Broadway last week had a taser. I mean, my goodness. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't. And then you got this. Shot fired during a fight in the bus. So I'll just read this from NYPD News. On January 12th at approximately 4:27 p.m. on a BX-39 bus near White Plains Road on Van Nest Avenue in the Bronx, this suspect displayed a firearm, then discharged 1 round the ceiling onto the bus. So, apparently this was a teenager that got harassed. And then apparently the suspect got into a fight with the teen's uncle. You can't make this stuff up. So here's the video. Apparently this is who they're looking for. And this guy violated TSA protocol. You're supposed to wear a mask on public transit. What else is new? Okay. Oh, look at this. Another hit and run that got ignored. Where did this happen? Pedestrian struck and killed by an unlicensed driver in Middle Village. And we'll get to that one in Brooklyn at the end of this video, because there's just so much crime, I can't even get to all of it. Okay, here we go. Because obviously I'm focusing on the news in Queens, obviously. Here we go. This happened on January 13th. 57-year-old man was struck and killed by an unlicensed driver. So apparently, this happened right by the BJ's. Unbelievable. Victim was walking in the vicinity of Metropolitan Avenue and Rentar Place around 7:45 p.m. when he was hit by a 2007 Cadillac Escalade. Police from the 104th Precinct in Ridgewood responded to a 911 call of a motor vehicle collision involving a pedestrian and found the victim lying in the roadway with body trauma. EMS responded and transported the man in critical condition to Elmhurst Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Okay. Joseph Capella, 46 75th Street, Middle Village, remained at the scene and was taken into custody and charged with driving without a license. The identity of the victim is pending family notification. Investigations being taken place by the Highway District Collision Investigation Squad. So, there you go. Channel 1 didn't cover this. This is interesting. Hang on here. Oh, so the fire that happened in Flushing last week is now being considered an arson. Ah, okay, so this is apparently a drug deal gone bad, according to investigators from the 109th Precinct. Investigators believe the suspect climbed the fire escape of a residential building, 34-15 Parsons, just before 5 a.m., and allegedly threw a Molotov cocktail through the window of a 6th-floor apartment. Oh. You cannot make this stuff up. Blew out the windows of the 6th and 7th floors of the building. So thankfully the good news is the fire was put out under an hour. 2 firefighters battling the blaze suffered minor injuries and were taken to an area hospital. I bet they probably looked at surveillance video. That's what this assumption's being made. Here we go. So I just want to read these last two. Hang on, I'm just trying to look for that fire in the Bronx. When I saw something. That's very odd. I thought I saw it on here. Okay, we are going to find it. Oh! That reminds me, I have to get to that other update on the Burger King shooting. That's it. Okay, so this is the fire that happened in the Bronx. I mean, these fires are getting way out of control. Like, Mignola's saw 3 fires just last week in Long Island. Here we go. Fire department sources said the blaze inside an auto shop in the Bronx ignited at 10:25 a.m. on Sunday, January 16th, inside the INS Auto Body Shop at 4410 Park Avenue in Belmont. The first units on the scene observed heavy fire inside the rear of the 2-story building, as well as heavy smoke coming from inside. The smoke eaters got to work right away, but according to the FDNY, Battalion Chief Jeffrey Fuggetti, their efforts were hindered by a bit of frozen hydrants. More than 150 firefighters responded to the blaze. They used 4 hose lines to knock down the fire within an hour. By the way, we actually have a breaking story that happened in the Bronx. Let's see if I can find it. Yes, here we go. So this just broke a while ago. I've been keeping an eye on it. 850 Fox Street off Intervale Avenue. Major explosion reported from a building. 3-story row flames. Okay. So, I'm sure you've seen this by now. Every media outlet, including Spectrum News, covered it. 15-year-old truck killed and hit and run in Sheepshead Bay. So here we go. This happened at Bedford Avenue and Avenue P in the Madison section of Sheepshead Bay just shortly before 8 a.m. on Monday, January 17th. Arriving officers found the girl lying in the roadway and EMS workers pronounced her dead at the scene. The girl was identified by police as Antonia Skukowski of Coney Island. The driver was later found in Coney Island, according to the Daily News. Police said Monday night, along with WABC TV, that they had arrested 55-year-old Alexstar Putaya of Coney Island and charged him with failure to yield to a pedestrian and failure to use due care. The incident occurred in the vicinity of James Madison High School, which is located at the intersection. Public schools in New York City were not in session on Monday due to the federal observance of Martin Luther King Day, but many private schools did hold classes. So, we do have a video, and there is proof. So here we go. This is the video police are using. Ooh. Second fatal car crash in that vicinity in 2.5 months. One short block away at Bedford and Kings Highway, 27-year-old Mona Sotaski was struck by a driver in a Ford van on October 18th. She died 9 days later. Yeah, we're not going to read transportation alternatives because, again, we know their deal with Passengers United, so obviously I'm not going to read their quote. And let's get to the good news at the end of this video. Cops cuff shooter in East Harlem Burger King murder. So, an arrest has been made in connection with the murder of Cristiel Baron Nieves at an East Harlem Burger King. Winston Glenn was taken into custody on January 12th and was charged with murder, criminal use of a firearm, criminal possession of a weapon, and 2 counts of robbery. So that is good news. Thank goodness. And there was an update from 1010 Wins. The family is now looking into suing Burger King for security. So that is some interesting news right there. So that's it. I mean, I can go more and more about the other crime, but that's just going to take long enough, and I just do not have the patience to do it any further. Oh, in fact, hang on. Spectrum News just posted an update regarding the building explosion in the Bronx. Okay, so according to the FDNY, this is now a 2-alarm fire. And according to the FDNY, the building has partially collapsed. Again, folks, this is just breaking because I got a notification about this literally an hour and a half ago. It's now 12:30, and I bet Channel 7 is still live on the air right now. I'll take a look at it in just a second. So according to City Councilman Raphael Scribana, this is a gas explosion. Wow. I mean, that's very scary. Wow. 869 Fox Street. Let's see where this is. According to this is right off the Bruckner. Yep. Oh, yeah. I know exactly where this is. Yep. Not too far from where the Longwood Avenue station is on the 6th line. Man, that's just awful. Well, I'm very intrigued how Spectrum News is actually covering it. Alright, so that's going to wrap this up. I'll continue to monitor the situation in the Bronx. So that's it. Thank you for watching.